Hi, my name is Samaya Moon, and I'm doing my presentation on being a plastic surgeon. So, I'm really doing my career speech about plastic surgery because I've always had a passion for the medical field. I haven't always liked plastic surgery until recently, but I feel very strongly about helping other people and making people feel good about themselves. So, I'm first going to begin with what is plastic surgery, what it consists of. Being a plastic surgeon is being a doctor. You still have to go through all the regular education and, skills and requirements. But being a plastic surgeon, you have to do surgery on people, which could be difficult and, really tedious at times. You also have to be really patient, and it may take long hours, longer than natural doctors, because you're going to be cutting people open and going into their body, and you have to really think on top of your feet. Being a plastic surgeon, you have to perform invasive surgeries, reconstructive surgeries, maybe just cosmetic surgeries. You may have to do internal surgeries that deal with maybe like the heart or the lungs or arteries. Or in my case, I want to be a cosmetic plastic surgery. I would do non-invasive surgeries, which would include like Botox or lip fillers, maybe like a light rhinoplasty, or more lighter procedures like breast implants or reductions, or butt augmentations like Brazilian butt lifts and liposuctions and fat transfers. Those are the light jobs I would be doing as a cosmetic plastic surgeon. Regular surgeons or internal surgeons would deal with like the really like important things like heart surgeries, hip replacements, bone replacements, brain surgery. So that's the difference between the type of surgeons. There's cosmetic plastic surgeons, there's internal surgeons. I'm going to be a cosmetic plastic surgeon. When it comes to the salary of surgeons, it differs from state to state. So you would be making more as a Atlanta or a Los Angeles surgeon than you would in, Salt Lake City, Utah. Because of the popularity difference, you would even make more in Los Angeles or Atlanta compared to Chicago because it's so popular in those cities. The more popularity impacts your salary, and the more experience you have, the longer education you've experienced and went through, the more you're able to get paid. You usually get paid about $189 an hour, approximately, and depending on the state to state, like I mentioned earlier, you could be getting about $400K a year, but that all depends. And that's according to the U.S. Bureau of Medicine and Health and Medicine. When it comes to the education you have to go through to be a plastic surgeon, it's a little bit more extensive than just a regular doctor, or as it's called in the medical field, a MD, medical doctor. So to be a plastic surgeon, you would have to go through 4 years of high school, of course. You have to have a high school diploma. Then you have to go to college for 4 years. And the university would work for 4 years. You should get a bachelor's or higher if you plan on going to medical. So that's the only way you can get into the medical field, by going to medical school. So you go through your 4 years of college, and then you go through 4 years of medical school. But in order to get into medical school, you have to take the MCAT exam. That's like the SAT of grown folk life or medical field life. You can't get into medical school unless you pass the MCAT. You would take the MCAT around junior year of just regular 4-year college. That way you'll get your results and get if you've been admitted into a school. That way, once you get your MCAT results, if you pass, you can go to the next step in medical school. If you don't, you would have to keep retaking the MCAT until you pass. So you take the MCAT, you pass the MCAT, you go into medical school for 4 years. The first 2 years of medical school is just classwork, understanding your field, understanding what you want to go into. But the last 2 years is hands-on experience. You would actually be under, doctors and doing rotations and kind of getting a feel for which field it is you want to go into. But you won't have to actually declare your field of medicine until maybe the last 2 years of medical school. And that's also according to the U.S. Bureau of Statistics. Not statistics. The U.S. Bureau of Health and Medicine. And then after that, you would have to go through a residency and fellowship, and that can be anything from 3 to 7 years. Residency is 2 to 4 years, and then the remaining would just be fellowships. So residency is like the last 2 years of medical school. That's more rotations, more being under doctors in a hospital environment. After medical school, you're a doctor. After you graduate medical school, you're officially a doctor. You do start making money, but it's not as much as you're going to get paid once you actually finish your residency and fellowships. So you go into your residency, you work under doctors, you're getting a feel for everything. After you finish that 3 to 7 years of residency and fellowship, you have to pass the board certification exam to be a doctor and be licensed in your state. And then you have to, be certified, and such and such. So after that, you're a plastic surgeon. And every year, not every year, I think it's every 10 years, you have to pass the test again. So they, make sure you haven't forgotten anything. You're still up to par and you're able to practice medicine. Another thing about plastic surgery, why I chose it, is because I like to help people. I like to make people look the way they want to look, because I know in society, people are really self-conscious about the way they look and they wish they could fix certain things. Not just because of, internal problems that we deal with, but because of outside pressures and, peers looking different ways, looking better than you, or peers pressuring you or making you feel like you're not good enough. I've always had a problem with that. So I feel like being a plastic surgeon will really help me help others. The college of choice that I will be attending in August to pursue plastic surgery is Loyola University in Chicago. I was accepted December 4th, 2019. I sent in my enrollment deposit March 17th. So I'm already enrolled. I'm already registered. I'm majoring in biochemistry with a minor in Arabic studies and culture. I feel like having another language under your belt is always good, because it's another skill that I could put on my resume towards medical school and jobs. So I'll be studying biochemistry. That's one of the majors that would guarantee acceptance into medical school. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. Loyola University, Chicago. I was thinking about doing 2 years at Loyola and then transferring to an HBCU, since Loyola is a PWI, predominantly white institution. I wanted to get a kind of a taste of both worlds in college before I graduate and leave for medical school, I wanted to get a kind of a feel for both. So I was probably going to transfer to Howard University, which I was also accepted into. So yeah, I plan on going through all of those things to be a plastic cosmetic surgeon. And that was my presentation for plastic surgery.